She was only 7 years old when she ran out of the bakery, holding a pink balloon in one hand and her mom's change in the other. Her curls bounced with each tiny step, her smile bright as summer light. She didn't see the man in the hoodie watching her from across the street. But someone else did. From behind a cracked dumpster, a boy with scraped knees and dirt on his face tightened his grip on the half-eaten sandwich he'd found. His name was Tyler. 14 years old. Homeless since he was 10. No family, no address, no reason anyone would remember him. But in that moment, Tyler noticed something the rest of the street missed: danger hiding in plain sight. He dropped the sandwich. And ran. The story of how Tyler went from invisible to unforgettable begins here. Tyler had been living on the streets of Ashtonville for almost 5 years. A town too big for anyone to care, and too busy for anyone to notice. He'd learned how to survive without being seen. Sleeping behind closed shops, scavenging food from dumpsters, washing in public fountains, and slipping through alleys before store owners could yell at him. Every day was a fight. Against hunger. Cold. Loneliness. And the slow erosion of hope. But he wasn't bitter. He didn't have the energy for bitterness. All he had left was instinct and the desire to see tomorrow. He spent most afternoons near the downtown plaza. Families passed through after school pickups, workers grabbed lattes on breaks, and kids clutched their parents' hands with the kind of safety Tyler barely remembered. That's when he saw her, small frame, white dress with sunflowers, curly hair pulled into 2 puffballs. She had a balloon and a giggle that seemed to echo across the plaza. She couldn't have been more than 7. Tyler figured she was waiting outside while her mom paid for something inside the bakery. And then he saw the man. Tall. Broad. Hoodie up, despite the heat. Standing behind a delivery van, eyes locked on the girl. He wasn't smiling. He wasn't a passerby. Tyler knew that look. Predator. His heart pounded. He glanced around, dozens of adults, but none paying attention. The girl twirled in a circle, then started skipping toward the fountain. Away from the bakery. Away from safety. Tyler didn't think. He ran. The girl's name was Ava. And just as the man stepped out from the shadow of the van, Tyler shoved her to the side and stood between them. The man froze. Tyler's voice trembled but didn't crack. Back off. The man's lip curled. Get out of the way, kid. Tyler didn't move. He knew he didn't look like much. Ragged clothes, grime on his face, small for his age. But he stared the man down like he had nothing to lose, because he didn't. Behind him, Ava had fallen, but she hadn't cried. She just stared, wide-eyed, trying to understand what was happening. The man took a step closer. Then, a woman's voice rang out. Ava. From the bakery doors, a woman sprinted across the sidewalk, panic twisting her face. She grabbed Ava, pulled her into her arms. Oh my God. Are you okay? What happened? Tyler turned to run. But he didn't get far. A hand caught his wrist, not the man's, but the mother's. Wait, don't go. Tyler flinched. She looked at him, tears in her eyes, still holding her daughter with one arm. Were you the one who? Ava peeked out from her mother's arms. He helped me, Mommy. He stopped the bad man. The woman stared at Tyler, something shifting in her expression. Gratitude. And disbelief. What's your name? Tyler didn't answer. He was already backing away. Please. At least let me say thank you. But he was gone. Back into the alleyways. Back into the shadows. That night, Tyler couldn't sleep. The adrenaline had worn off, but the feeling hadn't. For the first time in years, he'd done something that mattered. He didn't have much, no family, no home, no clean place to lie down. But he'd stopped something terrible. That had to count for something. He wondered if Ava was okay. If she got home safe. If the police had caught the guy. But mostly, he wondered if she'd forget about him like everyone else eventually did. The next morning, Tyler returned to the plaza. Not because he was brave. But because he was hungry. He never expected to see his own face on a flyer. They were everywhere. Stapled to lampposts. Pinned to bulletin boards. Held by a woman standing beside a small girl in sunflower prints. "Please," she was saying to a store owner, "he saved my daughter. He just ran off. If anyone's seen him." Tyler ducked behind a trash bin. His stomach twisted. Not in fear, but something else. Shame, maybe. He didn't want to be a story. He just wanted food. A blanket. Maybe a day without fear. But now people were looking for him. And he didn't know if that was good or bad. Later that afternoon, he made the mistake of visiting his usual dumpster behind a pizza shop. 2 boys from the neighborhood were already there. Bigger. Meaner. "Hey, rat," one of them sneered. "Didn't you hear? They're putting up your face like you're some kind of hero." The other one shoved Tyler against the wall. "Think you're better than us now?" Tyler didn't fight. He never fought. But he didn't cower either. "I didn't ask for anything," he said. The first boy scoffed. Then stopped trying to be somebody. They left him with a busted lip and a bruised side. That night, he didn't sleep either. Not from the pain. But from the memory of Ava's eyes, filled with trust. Trust he didn't think he deserved. 2 days passed. Then 3. Tyler avoided the plaza. But on the 4th morning, hunger won. He walked through backstreets and quiet alleys toward the bakery, hoping to find a leftover muffin or 2. Instead, he found a miracle. Waiting outside, sitting on the bench, was Ava's mother. Holding a paper bag. Glancing around. Like she was waiting for someone. Like she was waiting for him. Tyler turned to leave, but paused. The woman saw him. She didn't chase. She didn't shout. She just stood. And held out the bag. "I brought food," she said. "If you want." Tyler hesitated. "Ava talks about you every day," she added. "She called you her guardian angel." He stepped closer. Just enough to take the bag. Inside were 2 sandwiches, a bottle of water, and an apple. He whispered, "Thanks." She smiled gently. "Can I ask your name?" "Tyler." "I'm Rachel." "That's Ava's name, if you didn't catch it that day." He gave a small nod. "I don't want to scare you off," she said, "but I've been thinking, you saved her." And then disappeared. "You didn't ask for a reward. That tells me more about you than anything else." Tyler didn't know what to say. No one had ever spoken to him like this. Like he was worth the time. "I work with a youth outreach shelter," Rachel continued. "I could help you. A bed. Clothes. A place to wash up. Even just for a night." Tyler lowered his eyes. "They don't take kids like me." "They will," she said firmly. "If I vouch for you. If you let me help." He looked at the food. Then back at her. "Why?" Rachel's voice softened. "Because you saved my baby. And because I think you deserve to be seen." Tyler didn't answer. But he didn't run either. And that was enough. That night, Tyler stood at the corner of 8th and Monroe, just outside a small 2-story building with gray bricks and a faded blue sign that read, Horizon Youth Haven. A warm light glowed behind the windows, and the air smelled faintly of soup and laundry. His hands trembled inside the sleeves of his too-thin hoodie. He'd been in and out of shelters before, usually just long enough to grab a shower or a quick meal before the rules or the look sent him running. But this time was different. This time, someone had vouched for him. Rachel. She'd said his name like it meant something. Not just, "Hey, kid," or "You there," but like she really saw him. Not just for saving her daughter, but for still being human, even after the world had scraped him raw. Tyler stepped up to the glass door and pushed it open. The smell hit him first, real food. Clean soap. Warm air that wrapped around him like a blanket. Behind a curved counter sat a woman in her 40s with short blonde hair, reading a paperback novel. She looked up and smiled. "You must be Tyler." He blinked, startled. "How do you know?" Rachel called ahead. Said to expect a quiet kid with big eyes and a bigger heart. Tyler's cheeks flushed. He looked down. "My name's Denise," she said kindly. "Let me get Jonah for you. He's our program lead. You're in good hands here." Jonah appeared moments later, taller than he expected, African-American with a calm voice and a basketball player's frame. He greeted Tyler like they'd met before. "Come on in," Jonah said. "We've got a bunk ready for you. You hungry?" Tyler nodded faintly. "Let's take care of that first." Dinner was grilled cheese and tomato soup. Tyler ate like he hadn't seen food in days. He hadn't. Nobody judged. No one stared. Across the cafeteria, other teens sat chatting softly or scrolling on phones. Some looked tired, some guarded, some just lost in thought. They were just like him. Jonah walked him through the intake process without pushing for personal details. No lectures. No pity. Just facts and choices. "We do things slow here," he said. "You want help finding school options, we'll walk with you. Not drag you. You want to just rest for a while. That's okay too." Tyler only nodded. "Rachel told me what you did. That was brave, man. Not a lot of people would have stepped in. I saw it happening and couldn't walk away." Jonah nodded. That's the definition of character. Tyler had never heard anyone say that about him before. That night, he slept in a real bed for the first time in almost 2 years. And when he woke up, no one had kicked him out. Over the next few days, Tyler kept his head low. But he noticed everything. The kids here weren't perfect, they had scars, literal and emotional. But they smiled sometimes. They played board games. Some even laughed. And slowly, Tyler found himself doing the same. One of the first people to really talk to him was Ethan, a lanky 15-year-old with freckles and a cracked skateboard. "You the Ava kid?" Ethan asked one afternoon as they sat in the common room. Tyler blinked. "What?" "The girl. The one you saved. Heard Jonah talking to the staff about it. Said you didn't even stick around for a thank you." Tyler shrugged. "Didn't do it for that." Ethan grinned. "Cool. Well, if anyone messes with you here, I got your back. Just so you know." It wasn't much. But it meant more than Tyler could say. Rachel and Ava visited the following Sunday. Ava bounded through the lobby, gripping a bag of gummy bears and waving a picture book. When she saw Tyler, she ran full speed into his arms, nearly knocking him over. "Tyler. You're still here." He couldn't help but smile. "Yeah. I'm still here." Rachel walked in behind her, holding a grocery bag. "Brought some things. Extra socks, snacks. Hope that's okay." Tyler looked down, unsure how to respond. "You're not a charity case, Tyler," she said gently. "You're part of our life now. Ava talks about you like you're her personal superhero. She shouldn't. She does anyway." They sat together in the courtyard. Ava read to him, her little finger tracing each word with the seriousness only a child could bring. Tyler listened quietly, the sun warming his back. He hadn't realized how long it had been since he felt like this, safe. Wanted. Rachel watched them and said, "We've started a GoFundMe." Tyler looked up sharply. "Why?" "Because your story matters. And people want to help." He tensed. "I didn't do it for that." "I know. That's exactly why it matters." The fundraiser went viral faster than any of them expected. Once a local journalist picked up the story and featured Tyler in a piece titled, "Homeless Teen Hero Saves Girl, Now Needs Saving Himself," the donations poured in. In just 3 weeks, it passed $100,000. Tyler wanted none of it at first. Money made things complicated. But Jonah sat down with him one evening and explained how it could be used, for college, for stable housing, for therapy, for things Tyler hadn't even dreamed of wanting. "This isn't charity," Jonah said. "This is investment. In you." Tyler agreed, on one condition. "I want to help the shelter too." "You mean, donate part of it back?" Tyler nodded. "There are other kids like me. Kids who didn't get lucky." Jonah smiled. "That's your call. But I think you've already changed more than you know." As the months passed, Tyler started attending night classes through the local community center. He didn't catch on fast at first, reading comprehension was rough, and math even worse. But one of the tutors, Mrs. Lee, saw potential. "You've got grit," she said. "That's harder to teach than algebra." He passed his first mock GED test that spring. When he walked into the shelter cafeteria waving his results, Ava clapped like it was a parade and Rachel cried right there at the table. Tyler couldn't stop smiling. He felt like a person again. Not a case. Not a problem. A person. In the fall, Tyler stood before a crowd of over 100 donors at the shelter's annual fundraiser. He wore a borrowed suit and held a note card he never used. "I used to think nobody saw me," he told the crowd. "Then one day, I saw something happen, and I couldn't look away. I didn't save Ava because I wanted attention. I did it because I guess I remembered what it was like to be scared and alone." The room was silent. But what happened after, that changed everything. Not because of money. Not even because of the shelter. But because people, they looked at me, and they didn't look away. He paused. "I want to spend the rest of my life making sure no other kid feels like they're invisible." Standing in the back, Rachel clutched Ava's hand. And Ava whispered, "That's my hero." Tyler eventually earned his GED. He got accepted into a social work program at a community college. He still visits Horizon Youth Haven every week, this time as a volunteer mentor. And sometimes, late at night, he pulls out the crayon drawing Ava gave him that first week. The one with the red cape and the words, "My hero," scrawled across the top. He keeps it in a frame now. Not because he thinks he's perfect. But because it reminds him what's possible. When someone believes in you. When you refuse to look away. And when even the smallest act of courage is enough to turn a broken life around.